In my prior videos, part 1 through 5, I talked about how my husband Ryan, who entered the hospital on November 21st, was forced onto a drug against his consent, a drug with a known side effect of kidney toxicity, and was forced onto a ventilator on November 30th while having a normal 98% oxygen level. What followed was a lot of lies and manipulation coming from the medical staff, leaving me with the question, if they were not wanting Ryan to stay on something that he was improving on, if improving was not their goal, then what was? If the fear of losing Ryan was not the concern, then what were they afraid of losing? Then, after an emergency medical hearing with the courts that left me with the judge saying he had to let the hospital doctors make the call for what is best for Ryan, I was left on my own to defend Ryan's rights and find doctors willing to put Ryan's needs first. Now join me as we continue Ryan's fight for truth as I go into part 7. In attempts to get things started for Ryan, I reached out to a medical whistleblower named Nurse Erin Marie, who lived in Florida. She was a frontline nurse in New York, where the media first reported COVID cases. She was the nurse to wear a hidden camera and recorded doctors ordering patients to ventilators who did not need them. She helped uncover the lies and deception happening during this time.
Would you say it's too expensive? I mean, isn't this all getting charged to the fund anyway? I mean, why not do it? Why not? Are you saying that?
I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me. I asked that doctor about it.
How come you guys don't do the rapid test here?
Because city place, I mean, it exists. It's just they don't have access to it. There's only limited supply, so if you have deep pockets, you get first.
Oh, so money.
Most times it's money about everything, yes.
That's sad.
It's a reality.
I compare this hospital to a third world country. I've been in a third world country hospital in Iraq. The Iraq hospital is better than this one, and that says a lot. I've been there. I've been in both hospitals.
An understood financial incentive to diagnose COVID?
Yeah, of course. So in the hospital that I'm in right now, it's all COVID at this point. Every single floor is COVID, and they need it that way, obviously, for a reason, in my opinion. But a person cannot come to the floor unless they have a COVID diagnosis.
Is the reason, did they not want to cross-contaminate? Would that be the legitimate reason why you would create an all-COVID floor?
Here's why I will say no to that, is because they're admitting people for, quote, COVID rule out. So this guy was probably admitted COVID rule out, tested him. They saw that it came back negative. They probably already did something where they needed to now call him COVID, in the hopes that if they're putting him on a COVID floor and there's nurses going room to room to room, he will get it, and then they'll be back to when he does pass that he did have COVID.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a charge. I mean, what makes you think they really want them to get COVID? Because
money. Money. I think it's at least $29,000 per patient, and then you have to think you are also charging supplies and more supplies. That's just like a bonus money.
But the residents aren't getting that, right? I mean, why?
Oh, that's the thing. And I actually I've went at it with a lot of residents already, and they're order followers. So there was a resident, and I have this on tape. I taped it because it was just so disgusting to me. A 37-year-old, which is my age, was not a DNR, is a full code. His family in-depth discussed with the doctors that they want us to do everything they can to save him. Like, he came in talking, he was very terrified. He was just like, totally alert, knew what was going on, and they convinced him to be on a vent. Now he's dead. But the doctor said when I got onto shift that if he codes, that we are not to resuscitate or try to save him. And we flipped.
This is important. I just asked them if we can put a DNR order, and they said no. That's up to the attending.
Okay, so we're gonna code him.
That's what I said, and they said no, we're not. I said yes, we are.
Yeah.
We're obligated to. So then
You gotta say something though, like it's our license. Unfortunately, you guys gotta put in an order, just something.
That's what I said. I said I'm obligated.
Yeah.
What did she
So
say?
then she's like, the higher up said. I said, I don't care what they said.
What higher up? God? We don't have a God here making decisions.
I said, I don't care what they said.
So we're supposed to. He's not DNR, but we're treating it as DNR.
Basically.
Does his family know?
His family knows the situation. I think they called them and they told them. They were trying to do a school with 20%. All day he spent like in the 80s saturating. It was this one on the forehead didn't work. It was this one worked. And it came down. And when I changed it, I was like, oh shoot, it's 90.
Yeah.
So they started playing around with the
Oh
pencil.
shoot, it's
Because
90.
he's still on pressure.
He changed the pulse ox
You put him on AC,
from
drop.
his head to his finger, and he's like, oh, it's 90. He's fine.
So
Yeah.
So what was that?
So that was, we were just getting on shift because we're starting the night shift at 7. And that was the nurse from the day shift saying pretty much we shouldn't code him if he's going to code. And then I turned my glasses on.
Why are we being told not to code him, essentially? That's what he said. I mean, because I'm going to tell you right now, if he bottoms out, I'm jumping on his chest. Period. Point blank. It's going to happen.
Okay.
Because until that status is changed in the computer, that's what I'm obligated to do under my nursing license.
Right. I mean,
Because you guys aren't going to back me up and protect me.
well, Elmhurst does have a policy given, like a COVID policy, given the scarcity of
Right. It
dialysis
can be,
and blood.
it can be a chem code, it can be whatever.
But it's not, there's not it's a difference. Normally the standard is whatever the family says, like we just do. So if they would say code them for 5 years, like you just do that until they die. It's a little bit different now because of the new policy in place with our in place, which is that you don't need full family like you can just tell someone that it's medically futile and that we're not willing to just pour blood and resources into something that would be impossible to get back.
Right.
But look, it's brutal. He's 37. I mean, it's brutal.
Well,
So
they
he
tried.
said, well, our higher-ups have agreed and our attendings agree that this is futile care at this point. He is not going to make it. I said, he doesn't have an epi drip going. He doesn't have anything to sustain going. And I said, and who decided this? And I said, can you put a comfort care order in then? No, we can't do that. Can you put a DNR order in? No, we can't do that. I said, so what's our plan?
Do we have to modify?
She goes, well, he's dying. And I'm like, I understand that, but there needs to be an order indicating that either I'm doing compressions or I'm not doing compressions.
Well, I can say that we can all be in agreement that we will do it. I will definitely.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to jump on him.
Yeah.
So will I. I'll go right with you. I don't care. That's what we're here for. I'm not playing like these
until
stupid
they
games.
change his status that he is a DNR, and they can do it through physician consent if they've talked to the family.
Yeah.
But until they change it, and I see it, he's a full code to me.
What if we know when someone we're close, we'll pull the code card up and be ready. You know, we're ready. I had the epi ready. That's one of the first things we do. And she wouldn't let me give it. So this was that woman. And the entire time, and this was over his body, his alive body. And we're arguing and she's laughing. She was smirking. And how this man died was the nurses arguing with the doctors over him as he was dying. And she's smirking the entire time. It was probably one of the worst experiences in my entire life. But all I can think about is that at least he knows that we were fighting for him when he died. You know.
This is wrong. It is straight up it is wrong. And I am 37 years old. I have been in a hospital since I've been 16. Military hospitals that well.
That aspect of it was wrong too. I agree that there were parts of it that were wrong too.
Calling a patient a DNR when there's no order for it and telling us
like straight up telling us, you're not doing anything. That's wrong. If that was my brother or my father or anybody, I would be furious. And I guarantee you, if I called his family right now and told them what happened, they would be furious too.
I flipped. We were all crying. There's a lot of nurses that know that this is wrong, but they're afraid to like say anything publicly.
She said, when I was talking to her, she said, we're not always given the orders. It comes from the top down. And I was thinking, that's my exact problem with everything. Where's it coming from? What's the purpose? Are you guys really trying to kill everybody like everybody thinks?
Within our unit, it was a big fight, and ultimately the kid died with us over his body arguing about this.
It goes over there.
Yeah.
And he's like, the doctor will just write it up that we
Yeah, I don't trust him though, because I don't know him.
I'm sorry, I'm not doing that.
There's a doctor that came upstairs that I had worked with prior. He was working in the ED and heard what happened. He came into the room with me and told me that what I did was good. And then, so there are good doctors in here. I guess the word traveled after this.
You mentioned earlier that this is a common occurrence where people come in able to speak and they just have low oxygen levels and they're put on a vent. So what's going on there?
I don't know. I honestly have no idea how. They're assuming everybody is just the same. There's no individuality anymore. These residents, I think a lot of them are just stone cold. There's no emotion, and they don't view people as people anymore. And it's really sad. Like I came a little bit later, after the big rush, but there was still a lot of people coming in, and a lot of us were just in shock. Within the first couple days, you could see exactly what was going on.
My bigger problem with this whole scenario is when they intubate people who don't need it.
Yeah.
And it looks very clear to me that they're just pushing it.
You almost feel like you are literally living in the Twilight Zone. And you feel like you're the only sane one in a bunch of insane people. And it's scary because these are the people that others are trusting to take care of them. And they're really doing the opposite. I'm to the point where I'm afraid that I'm going to start thinking that this is normal. I don't want to ever get to that point because they think that. Like the people I work with that are local nurses and doctors don't see anything wrong with this.
I reached out to her and she offered to help me talk to the Chief of Staff at Beaumont. In my first attempt to find the Chief of Staff, my online search led me to a woman doctor who told me yes, she was a doctor from Beaumont, and when I told her I was looking for a doctor to approve our right to use our home medication of ivermectin, her response as an infectious disease doctor was, and I kid you not, we do not allow medications given by veterinarians. I pulled my phone away and rechecked the number and her name. It does in fact say the initials MD next to her name. I said on the phone, "You did say you are a doctor for Beaumont, correct?" And she said yes. Then I said, "You are the Chief of Staff of Beaumont, right?" And she replied, "The former Chief of Staff." And I said, "Oh, well, thank God to that. I think I see why." I said, "It's a very scary thought, ma'am, to know that you are a doctor, especially an infectious disease doctor, that does not know that I am speaking about a human dose of ivermectin." And I hung up on her. So after some more Google searches, I found a number for another doctor who fit the title I was looking for. I gave it a call, but this time I had Nurse Erin on the line with me. The first reply from the doctor was that he was not in the position to say what care Ryan got. Well, Nurse Erin was not buying that. She said, "You are the Chief of Staff, are you not, sir?" And she let him know that she has been a nurse for a number of years, and she knew what his role was in the hospital, and that if he was not going to do his job, then Ryan's life is in his hands. that he will be held accountable if this man is denied the use of his home medications and not given every opportunity to make it. She said, "If it's not you in charge, who do we speak to then, sir?" And he was a bit taken back by her assertiveness. When Nurse Erin began to ask too many questions, he said, "I don't like the fact that you are writing things down and taking notes." She said, "Well, I am doing one better than that. I am recording you right now, sir." "Are we still going to say we don't have the position? I know you do." And he got a bit upset and said that he didn't want to talk to her and would call me back after looking into some things, but he did take down her name and spelling. Nurse Erin then tells me, "In about 10 minutes he will be calling you back, and when he does, connect me on the line. He is Googling my name right now, and this is where he shits himself." Her comment made me laugh out loud. First time I laughed in weeks. And just like she said, about 10 minutes later, I got a call back from the real chief of staff, and I told him to please hold a minute, and I brought Erin back on the line. I told him I felt better having an advocate with a medical background on the line with me. While he was not wanting to speak to her, he was understanding of where we were coming from and offered to help. I will go into it later just how much of a divine intervention this was in a later episode. I was still on the mission to find doctors willing to fight for Ryan's life and listen to our request. We do not want to be on this protocol. Why are they forcing this? And who can help me and my husband try something else? May God help me defend my husband. I place my hands on my husband's head daily, asking for our protection, and for God to please lead me to someone who will help me fight for my husband. Follow my page starting with part 1 as I begin to take you on my journey from the last 3 years. And by the end, you can decide, was this hospital guilty of negligence or solicitation to commit murder?